Everybody, MJ here, dealing with opening up a pack of tissues. Oh boy. How's everybody doing? All right. It's been about 2 weeks since I've been on. Been really busy and just haven't felt like live streaming, to be perfectly honest with you. Just bump, dude. Good to see you, man. Well, I am MK too. All right, Mr. Woos. He's in the back. His wife's cooking. And I must have been seeing one of these. So lots been going on. I got a lot of photographs to show. I just hope that the internet holds out here, because the connection is not so good. Now, we are broadcasting tonight on YouTube, Twitter, and on Band, B-A-N-D. Band is an app for collaboration. Here's what's on the menu. Taiwan sausage here. And I got some of these bacon rolls. I'm going to use the sausage to point. It's bacon rolls, and then this is marinated barbecued pork. Yeah, didn't I say Twitch? I thought I said YouTube, Twitch, and Band. But you know, who knows what I said? Ha. So, there's my bike out there. Now, if you are interested in Band, this is a Taiwan Live TV QR code that you can scan to join us. I also have a Band group for my studio. It is here, Phoenix Media Forge. These groups are open to the public. I'll leave them out just for a second. And those of you who would care to join us, I just started these, so they're very small. But it's a good place to interact. And it's kind of like, can't think of anything else like it. It's kind of like a private world, like almost like Facebook, but all the annoying things about Facebook are not there. But you can post videos, you can post photographs and whatever you want for text and so forth. And I can live stream to that platform. You can interact directly with me. And sometimes I live stream stuff there that I don't want to live stream on the big public channels. So there you go. Now, lots happened this week, in the intervening 2 weeks. A new mall opened up, and we've been spending a lot of time there. But my family also went to this absolutely stunning, beautiful place in East Taiwan, where we went orange picking. I mean, look at that. That is just, it's unbelievable. This is all made possible by the guy that owns the music school where Phoenix studies piano. And he has an orange grove, and he invited the students and their families to come pick oranges. Very nice of him. As you can see, there are bananas here too. And Phoenix is showing a pair of scissors that she uses, and of course an orange that she cut Here's this again. Nice day. Beautiful day. Great for kids. And the oranges weren't too high, you know. And she could capture all of them. So yes. Thanks, Double S. Yeah, thanks, Dave. The view really was gorgeous. I just turned off the comments just for a second, you know. I want to show you, this is a panorama that I took. And then I got 2 short videos. This one and that is very typical of Taiwan, and it's similar to the mountain regions of Japan, but Taiwan has more mountains, you know, per square kilometer than Japan does. The whole center part of the island is this huge mountain range. It's higher than like Mount Fuji. And I took one other video. This is funny. I didn't have my gimbal, so I used my selfie stick as a gimbal to stabilize it. I used to talk about that on Periscope years ago. There's a way that you could, you know, hold a selfie stick and let it dangle and let the weight balance the camera. I just wanted to show you what it was like to walk. Oh, before I play this, you'll see towards the end, all of a sudden the camera's, you know, I'm walking and all of a sudden it goes like this because I bumped my head. I bumped my head on a tree. So, all right, let me hang on. Let me do this again so I can resize this. Okay. And those, there's some big chickens in there, man. Some of the biggest chickens I've ever seen. Got roosters and hens, so they got plenty of eggs going. All right, now, so far, I haven't gotten any error messages. So, could I please get a signal report? I was looking on YouTube. I lowered my bit rate down to 2000. Still 720p, it should be fine. By the way, if you get a chance, join us on livestreaming.technology. Livestreaming.technology forums, designed for live streamers and viewers and content creators. Excellent. Because you know I don't have that great of a connection here. But I lowered the, you know, the bit rate, so lowering the bit rate helps. What I can do too is something I can do. I think I'm going to turn around and face the other side. Stay with me. Boss lady wants to do some work, you know, and I just want to give her her privacy. She doesn't need to be, you know, on my live stream and so forth. There's people here, they like me, you know, and they like, even the boss told me, I was here the other day and I wanted some beer, and he saw me looking in my bag to make sure I had the money, and he said, don't worry about the money. He says, you can have whatever you want, give it to me later. So they're nice people here, so I always try to be considerate back to them, you know. There's a trash can here, I don't leave trash around, things like that. You know what I mean, just normal things. All right, so a lot of stuff's been happening, and I had kind of an epiphany. It's funny because we all know Mike Rundgren, frequent viewer of Taiwan Live TV, frequent commenter, and quite frankly, he's always flattering me, but He's telling me now about how much I know about things. But let me tell you, there are some things I know and some things I don't know. And one of the things that he brought up a couple weeks ago was shaving. Now, I'm not going to get into a big discussion about that right now, but let me just say that I had something of an epiphany because I was looking for another shaver. You know, my Braun, my ancient Braun, battery's going dead. It's going to cost, you know, $60 to get the battery changed. So, we're looking at razors, looking at another Braun, you know, Series 7. Then it's like, do you want the cleaning station or not, and all this stuff. I just didn't want to buy something right then, but I looked at them. I looked at the Relcos, I looked at the rotary razors, and I noticed that Panasonic had some razors, but I didn't pay them too much mind. And I think that if you understand why, I mean, if I explain why, I think you'll understand what I mean. It's kind of like, you see companies sometimes that dabble in things that they're not like their main focus, you know. And sometimes like Panasonic is so big, it's like Yamaha. You know, if you had a Yamaha razor, you'd think, well, Yamaha stuff's quality, but then would it be that good? Would it be better than a company, you know, that really specializes? But on the other hand, if you look at it like Philips, you know, was called Norelco in the United States and Canada, North America. And they're a huge electronics company, and they don't actually specialize in razors. And neither does Braun. So my viewpoint was actually kind of narrow, and I started doing some research, and I ran across a website called Shaver Check. One word, shavercheck.com. Now, there's a gentleman who runs that site, and he does the most comprehensive reviews and amazing articles, in my opinion, because they're so easy to understand. They're actually impossible to misunderstand, really. And he was talking about the Panasonic Arc 5. And they had one at the mall. So I went back and looked at it. And he said it's the closest shaving razor that you can get. And I mean, so the more research that I did, the more it seemed to me that I should get this razor, considering that it's not really that expensive. It's not as expensive as the other ones, you know. So without getting it too much further, I just want to show you. This is the little beauty I got right here. It's a wet or dry. In this picture, it's turned off, so you don't see, you know, the display. But I got to tell you something. All right? Let me just put this over here. I actually hated shaving. And, you know, I had a beard for a long time. I had a beard for like 20 years. I didn't shave. And so it's only been in the last, I don't know. You guys remember, like, within the history of my show, I used to have a mustache. I've been clean shaven for about 3 years, but I had a mustache, you know, since way back when. I used to have a goatee. I started out with a full beard and then kind of gradually cut it down. Blades just tore up my face, you know, and so one reason I wanted to go back to the Braun, because I had the Braun for a long time, and I promised you I wouldn't get into a big thing about this, but I didn't use the Braun because it wasn't comfortable, and it didn't do a very good job. And you know how it is, you have to keep going over the same spot over and over and over until it cuts, and by the time you burned your face. So when Overdue, the author of shavercheck.com, when he said that the Arc 5 was the closest shaving razor, that's what I wanted. Because one thing I hate is, if I'm going to spend all that time, I'm going to burn my face, and I got stray hairs, it drives me nuts. Well, I'm just going to tell you that this thing, I bought it. It came in a package a couple days later. I charged it. Took 50 minutes to charge. I went into the restroom and, you know, chair in front of the mirror, hot towel, whole thing, and I did a nice wet shave with shaving gel. And it was the best shave I ever had in my life. It was incredibly comfortable, and it's the closest to shave I've ever had. And I've been shaving this thing every day, and I actually look forward to shaving, and I like it now, and I wish my beard would grow faster, because I want to shave it again. It's amazing. So like, I find myself doing things like I like to shave in the shower, because I always like to combine things, so I'm not spending time, you know what I'm saying? If I have to spend 20 minutes to shave, I'm in the shower anyway, you know what I'm saying? And so I try to combine things, and I don't mind being, you know, in the shower. It's nice hot water. It's a very comfortable environment. So things, it says wet or dry. You can see it says wet or dry on it right there, and it's fully waterproof. So, but like I've already decided tonight, I'm not gonna shave with it tonight, and I'm just gonna wait tomorrow, and I'm gonna treat myself to a nice morning hot wet shave with a hot towel and, you know, skin balm and everything else, because it's amazing. This thing has exceeded my expectations, and I wish I knew about it, because they've been around for some time, but I didn't know anything about them. So that's it. Now, the other thing that happened was, about a week ago, we came home. We were out eating, and came back on the highway, turned off the exit ramp, and we're going down towards my house, which is like about 4 blocks from the highway. And I was like, wow, look, there's fog everywhere. We got all this fog. I didn't know that, because there wasn't fog anywhere else. When I opened the door to get out of my car to move the chain so I could park in my parking space, I smelled this terrible smell. There was a fire in the neighborhood. That wasn't fog, it was smoke. It was terrible. So then my neighbors were coming out of the house, and they're all talking in Chinese. They're going, what's that smell? Where's it coming from? There's a fire. They were starting to get worried, because by the time, you know, even when we were on the highway and had gotten to where we were at, you know, near our house, it had gotten thicker. So I went up on the roof and I took some pictures, and I shot a little video, and it was really, really weird. It turns out there was a factory that was burning. And the next morning, I took a picture of it. I just sold it to you. Okay, great. Dave, let me know. Let me know how you like it. Because I got to tell you, if you can, hey Matthew, how's it going? Anything you can do, you know, to give yourself a little pampering time, you know, it's a good thing. But this is what it looks like, the fire. This is a close-up of one section of the destruction. It is really bad. And in these pictures, you can see it's still smoldering. So yeah, tomorrow, man, I got to go to one of our factories tomorrow. I know, that's really something, huh? I have to go to one of our factories tomorrow. When I go tomorrow, man, I'm going to have the cleanest shave they've ever seen. I'm going to be 66 soon. I have to start thinking about, you know, these things and taking care of myself. And the fact that every day I'm looking older, you know, why not use skin cream and so forth? So, one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is starting actually a new YouTube project where I talk about things that concern, you know, older men, but not just older men, but men in general. The channel's going to be geared towards, you know, information for men, obviously, because I'm a guy. But, you know, I mean, wives would probably want to listen to it too, so they understand a little bit more about what's going on. But there are a number of things that I really want to share, and they would be edited videos, you know, pre-recorded videos, string together with you know, illustrations and so forth, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to do a couple, I guess, pilot or test run videos and just see how they go and see what happens. But man, one of the things I do want to talk about is that puppy. And that thing is, it's beautiful. I mean, the engineering was quite impressive. What I like about it is it cleans so well. You don't need the cleaning station. You do not need the cleaning station, trust me. And I oil it with the mineral oil. If I wash it with soap, I let it dry, then the next time I use it, I oil it with mineral oil. And if you keep it oiled, it will last forever. All right, so I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, but I'm not gonna live stream my shave. There's only so much that you want to see. Now, let's talk about food. The new mall opened, and my wife called all the places that she wanted to try out. And we actually went to a Japanese-style buffet restaurant on Friday. It's booked solid until March. But we got the morning slot. It's amazing. But before that, I went to a roast duck place. And this is, call this Pecan Duck in English. That's that crispy skin roast duck. And these are the pancakes that go with it. But these pancakes are flavored. I don't know what the flavor is, but they had plain and they had these, and boy, it was really something. And you put the hoisin sauce on and so forth. You had this delicious dish with shrimp, and those are strips of apple on the top. This is a soup that they made with the carcass of the duck after they sliced the meat off of it. That's a close-up of a shrimp on my plate before it disappeared. This is a really interesting dish. This is a minced pork with cilantro, diced carrots, diced potatoes, and pine nuts. And what you do is, well, you put it in these vegetables. See, that's them together. You put them in this vegetable. It's like a type of, like, I guess it's romaine lettuce. And you end up with this. And you fold it up and eat it. So, man, oh man. And this, frequent viewers of my show know that I love Mapo Tofu. It really was, Matthew. It was incredible. This is a Taiwan-style Mapo Tofu, and the pepper, you know, the red pepper was a little bit different. But this had deep-fried eggs underneath it. And that was like the special thing about it, was the deep-fried eggs. And I dished some of it out. And look at that. If you've never had Mapo Tofu, it's one of my favorite dishes. I have kind of a hobby that wherever I travel, you know, in Taiwan or whatever country I'm traveling in, if I see that they have Mapo Tofu, I'll get it because I want to try it. It also has a very redeeming quality of being extremely cheap wherever you get it. It's like a $3, $4 dish in Taiwan, you know. But you can see the deep fried eggs there. My goodness. Now, when we went to the Japanese buffet I told you about, look at this. This is my plate. That is one in the center. That's a very long, crispy shrimp. Over to the left is a stick. You see that? That's grilled pork on a stick. Immediately to the right of that is a piece of classic Japanese style grilled mackerel. Just to the right of that and underneath the shrimp is a piece of unbelievable pork grilled rib. It's barbecued rib. Then we see over to the right, it's grilled beef. And below that is spinach. At the very top, there's a little thing at the top, and I forget what that was. Whatever, if I forget what it was. But whatever it was unbelievable. I just can't, yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, it was out of this world. And this is a close-up. So, I think we're all caught up. Now, I'm growing my hair a little bit longer. Somewhat dry today. I've been training it with a wax. And I went to the barber, and this barber right over here, and it turns out it's funny because this is a guy that I've known in my neighborhood for years and years. I never knew what he did, and I never went to this barber shop before he walked in. I'm like, hey, it's you. He goes, yeah. Imagine. And I told him what I wanted. So he's cutting it shorter on the sides, on the back, but leaving the top so it has a little bit more, height to it. And so that's the look I'm going for a while. Now, you guys know about my relationship with JTS, the audio company. Well, they have asked me and my friend Ian to come back Wednesday. It's following Wednesday. Today is Sunday night here, so, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Ian and I are going to be talking about a new speaker system. It's pretty amazing, the WA1 they call it. Now, let me see if I can find this. I'm not sure if I can post this or not. Let me just give me 1 second because I had forgotten that I wanted to talk about this, and I just want to make sure that see if I actually have this. I don't think I do. Is it in? Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Yes. Yes, I got this here. JTS has actually put out in Chinese a spec sheet, an information sheet for this speaker system. And you see who's there, right? I mean, you see, right? This is all in Chinese, but it's got me playing my EJ 200 Epiphone acoustic, and this is the speaker, the WA1, which is this bass down here, and plugged into it is a column, and the column is great, and the whole thing is battery powered. You'll notice there are no cables. There's nothing there. If you look closely at the guitar, no, let me move it. Let me do this. Let me move it a little over here this way. If you look closely at the guitar, right where the horn of the guitar is on the bottom, there's a microphone picking it up. JTS specializes in wireless microphones, wireless transmission systems. That's their whole thing. So they've done this campaign now or the spec sheet with yours truly on it. And so what's going to happen is on Wednesday, I'm going to be in the studio. I'm going to be in their recording studio with my friend Ian. We're going to be discussing this speaker with things that we like about it, and we're going to introduce it. It's going to be like a couple of old school recording engineers just, talking about it. So it's going to be really cool. And I can't believe I forgot this. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. I got to be an idiot or something. But well, I guess I didn't save it. A long time ago, I had showed you guys the JS1P. That's the amplifier. Excuse me. That's the USB microphone that I had reviewed, right? And so, if you look at the 1P Plus, there's 3 colors. I got a black one, white one, and pink. So let me ask you guys this. Given everything that you know about me, and some of you have been watching my live streams for 6 years, which one of those microphones, which one of these 3 colors did I pick? That's true. It's salmon. You're right. That's right. So that must be. I guess it's not white. It might be. Yep. 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 You guys know me. I picked pink because I am very comfortable with my masculinity. Thank you very much. That color to me is so beautiful. And if you're going to do something in a live stream and you want to show it off, so Marcus has decided to give me one of the newest off the assembly line JS1P Plus microphones that you can't get in the store yet. He's got it sitting there waiting for me. He's going to give it to me, and just as a gesture of appreciation. It's a gift for me helping him do these videos, which I want to do anyway because I love the company and I love their stuff. You guys know this, and it goes back to when David Osaka, came to Taiwan. He brought that JTS mic, with him, right? And he and I we opened the box, and he was upstairs with me, and we both checked it out together. It's amazing, this tube mic, and then eventually I made contact with the company, and I have a pair of their headphones, and then they gave me the JS1P, the podcaster mic, and I've had that for 6 months. They want it back now because they're going to give me the pink one. But the cool part about the pink one, the 1P, is that not only does it have a USB-C, which powers the condenser mic and is a USB audio output, there's also an XLR connector on the bottom. So the reason I want that mic is because you can do anything with it. You don't have to use it as a USB mic. You can use it as a standard, XLR mic. It's a really dynamite condenser mic. You could use it on guitar. You could use it on a snare drum or anything. So that's what I'm going to do because it's XLR. I can run it through my analog console, the Soundcraft Ghost, bring it into my digital system, and record some really warm, superb audio. And I'm even considering using that to record vocals on some of my music projects. That is just... I should have brought my lab mic, I think. Wow. Okay, anyway. So, I am really looking forward to getting my hands on the JS1P Plus version, and I can't believe that I didn't. I can't believe that because he had sent me George had actually sent me a thing where he could, because he I guess I just didn't save it. Yeah, never mind. George had sent me a screenshot of his line where he had asked the manager if that microphone had come in yet. So, but Matthew, I agree with you, and I think that I need to start referring to it as salmon. So, as soon as I get that thing, and I get a chance to set up, I'm going to do a studio show, Taiwan Live TV, and I'm going to use that mic, and you're going to see it, because obviously the back of it is going to be pink. The front of it is going to be, you're just not going to miss it. See, the thing about the black mic was, and like when I would do Zoom calls or something, I made a background screen that's, because I have a green screen, and I made a gradient, so it was like a light blue at the top, and it went a gradient down to almost black. So I put the microphone down here, and as long as I didn't put it in front of my shirt, if I put it like over here or something like that, where you could see it against the background, because the background was dark at the bottom, the microphone disappeared. That's kind of what I want. I just didn't want to draw attention to the mic, but now this pink thing, I have to put a blanket over it. Which reminds me, one of the things I want to talk to Marcus about is, excuse me. Marcus, by the way, is the big boss, the owner of JTS, and he's the one that comes up with all these ideas. I don't know why nobody makes a line of green broadcasting accessories. Imagine if you had, now just imagine this, a microphone that was green, a pop filter that was green, a boom arm that was green, and a cable that was green. It would completely disappear. You got this mic right up here like this, as long as it was covering your face. It was off to the side. It's going straight out, right? So let's just say it was going straight out. It wasn't covering anything. It just up here like this, right? And the arm was out, and it wasn't like covering your shirt or anything. And you could screen. I mean, you have this incredible audio, right? And the thing would just be completely invisible. What do you think? Would that work? Because I think a lot of people though, like if you look at Joey B, Joey B, like he talks on the microphone. I mean, a lot of guys, I think the mic is part of the show. Where because especially if they got an expensive looking condenser mic and they kind of want to show it off. But what would be cool is if somehow you could change the color of the mic, so if you wanted it to be seen, you could. But yeah, that would be cool. That'd be off to the side. Correct. But you've seen most of the big broadcasters, the ones that really know what they're doing. The mic's not covering their face. You look at the Joe Rogan Experience, right? The microphone is where it's supposed to be. It's down here. It's not like this. Only an amateur puts a mic in front of their face, unless some people are kind of shy, and a microphone's about the size of a bottle, right? A condenser mic, and so that they can put it like this and maybe kind of hide behind it or something like that. But a lot of people would, they like, if it's a condenser mic, it might be like this capsule on the side. They might just like this big thing sitting there because it fills the frame, and then people know they're a broadcaster. Because the thing is even in Taiwan, there's a thing like where if you go on a talk show and you're not sitting, like, it's not like the ones where there's a host and there's a panel. But I mean, if you're going to be like walking around on stage, you get a microphone, whether you use it or not. Because in the mind of the viewers, microphone equals host. Microphone equals star of the show. It's pretty interesting. And I've seen some shows, right, where, this is bizarre, in Taiwan, where they got the microphone in their hand, and they're not saying anything. but they're just walking around while everybody else is talking. They got nothing to say. They don't say anything. There's, they're part of the whatever, and they're just. They might go, ha 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 ha. They don't drop the mic and then bring it back. Go, ha ha ha. No, they walk around. I saw somebody one time. I couldn't believe it. They walked around for 5 minutes on the set while other people were talking. They were not interrupting. It was, a round table. They were not interrupting. They were very polite, but they just went like this. 5 minutes with a mic in their hands. Like, you wanted to go, just put it down for a minute. I don't know, am I too demanding? I don't know. So, hey, what do I know? I have a salmon colored mic, right? So, be out to the side. So, I just think, because everything else that you've got, and the other thing too, right? Here's the thing, because most people are proud of how the mic looks, and I remember this. It was kind of ridiculous. At the time it was cutting edge, and people thought it was amazing. But Alex Pettit from Periscope, remember him? Talk about where are they now? But he would do a tech show on Periscope, and it would be in portrait mode, and he would put himself on the top, and a person he was interviewing on the bottom, and this was like unheard of. And he would have this big tech mic hanging down, and it was in front of his face, right? And it's kind of like, in this corner, but anyways, it was on a boom. This is this big honking thing hanging down like this right in front of his face, right? Bigger than this. And I heard him say on one of his broadcasts that, I use that mic when I do tech broadcasts. But he didn't use it for anything else, or either that or he meant that he doesn't put it in his face, he puts it down here at the desk, But here's the thing, if you had a quote-unquote green screen mic, and it was really, really expensive, like say, so the Ultimate Broadcaster's mic, it's green screen green, it's a condenser mic, it's multi-patterned, it costs 999 euros. Okay, it's an expensive mic. And everybody knew that you had it. That would be like, the big cred. Okay, instead of having like a Yeti Blue or something, or maybe an AKG, AT2020 or whatever. Audio Technica or whatever. Just these other mics that people know are high quality and rather expensive, and you could see them. If you had a mic that you couldn't see, but you knew it was there, because every once in a while the broadcaster's going like this. He's like, he or she's moving this invisible mic and moving the invisible thing. Every once in a while it cuts across your face and your face disappears, kind of stuff. And they go, he's got that 999 euros pounds, expensive microphone. Ooh, so that's how you would get around having issues, with people not wanting to buy it because then they couldn't show off how cool it was or how expensive it was, right? But now, this has got me wanting to try this. I've got a really, really nice, as a matter of fact, I forget if it might even be made by Tascam. I have a really nice broadcast arm, I got, it's one of the, all the big guys use that one. And the reason I got it is not because I'm one of the big guys, is because I have a heavy microphone, and I need, the heavy spring support. Excuse me, and it has, all the internal tubing and so forth that you can put the cable through, and has internal springs and stuff. So it's really nice. But now I'm thinking I want to paint it green. That would be cool. What would be really cool is I painted the whole thing green. So just the microphone would hang it in the air. Listen, you guys know me, right? I'm liable to just do that, to have a salmon, I almost said pink, a salmon colored microphone just hanging in midair. I paint the cable too. you know, right up to the connector, just green. What do you think? Should I do that? I just think that would be. You know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to steal my idea. Now, what I have to worry about? Only. Hey, Drunish, fist bump. I'm not kidding. Only 30, 40, or maybe 50 people at the most watch any of my videos or live streams. Nobody's going to steal this idea, but I think what I'm going to do is next time I go down to the hardware store, I'm going to look for some of that green paint, because you know they make this green screen paint. Because there are places that like, you know, you build a room, you just paint the whole thing. That's one of the things I'm thinking about for my new studio is painting the back wall green. Except paint just doesn't, it doesn't work well with diffusible materials. But the other thing too is the studio's got to look, you know, cool, and having a green back wall doesn't look cool. I guess I got to stick with a screen. I think the thing to do though is in Taiwan it's really easy to get Roman shades made, and you can have a beautiful, super wide, really smooth, kind of thick material that wouldn't show the wrinkles. You know, a Roman shade that you could just pull down and it would just come down. And a beautiful green screen. That'd be the way to do it. But now it got me thinking. You know, I got this salmon-colored mic coming. It's USB-C and XLR, and could use either one. I got plenty of cables. I may just spray paint the mic arm green, so the mic looks like it's floating in space. What do you think? Drunish, how you doing? Always a pleasure to see you. How's it going? All right. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dave in Osaka, live from Greenland, and you're watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
Hi everybody, you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein on Taiwan Live TV.
All right, I really appreciate those bumpers, you guys. Listen, if you want to contact me, you can reach me at late night at Taiwan Live TV. And I get a lot of spam now because I, have broadcast the email, but that's okay. Late night at Taiwan Live TV. If you would like to send me a bumper, that would be really, really good. And also I want to mention that on SoundCloud, I know you guys use SoundCloud, but SoundCloud is a site where you can post music. And this is Phoenix Media Forge Studio is our SoundCloud. Just like it says, Phoenix Media Forge. And if you go to soundcloud.com/Phoenix Media Forge, one word, run together, you will find our SoundCloud account, which has my old catalog, and it'll be a place where I will be posting all my new stuff. Now, of course, we have livestreaming.technology, and we also have Behringer.world. If you use Behringer audio equipment, please join us on Behringer.world. That's a site that I run, and it's really great. There's a lot of people on that site that know a whole lot more than I do, and you can really find what you're looking for if you have issues, if you have problems. Where is the other one? Live streaming technology is already up there. Where is? I should have another slide. Yes. I started quite a while ago. Let me put it down here where it was. I started a non-censorship platform for people to talk about their experiences with the pandemic. But COVID-19 is not the only pandemic that ever was, and it's certainly not going to be the only pandemic that's ever going to be. So I know there's a site called COVID Stories that's been very popular, but once COVID is assimilated into society and it becomes, the next one is some kind of avian bird flu issue. The reason I did the pandemic community was because pandemic covers everything, including flu. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's being downgraded by Google or what the deal is, but not many people are finding it. But anyway, there are only a couple rules. You can't tell other people what to do. You can tell people what you would do. You can't get political, and you can't bully. But other than that, it's a non-censorship platform, and it's one that I run myself. And if you would like to join the pandemic community, please feel free to do so. And you can, post news articles or something. I mean, I posted a couple of, the Joe Rogan podcast links because I thought they were interesting with some of these doctors, what they were saying. And controversy is not the issue. The issue is censorship. And, you can be controversial as long as you're polite, but it's the censorship that just really bothers me. And a lot has come out recently with Project Veritas and some DARPA documents. I'm not going to say any more because this isn't the pandemic community. YouTube is not a platform that I personally own, so I have to be careful because some woke person might decide, oh, that sounds like misinformation. And, I don't like it when people disrespect my right to hear disinformation if I want to. Think about that. You have the right to be disinformed, misinformed, uninformed, informed. It's up to you. Not somebody else. So please feel free to join us on the pandemic community if you are so inclined. And it really doesn't look all that good up there, but that's okay. There aren't very many members there. The funny thing is a couple of articles and postings have gotten lots of views. I don't understand this. What a guy just signed up. He called himself COVID-19 survivor, and he wrote this article. It's a post with some follow-ups. Just, terrible stuff that happened to him, and he has a lot of complications. I have since had follow-up discussions with him privately, and he has medical complications that didn't allow him to take ivermectin. And so, and he's suffering from long COVID, and some of these stories on the pandemic community are getting high view numbers, but people aren't joining the forum and interacting, if you see what I'm saying. Yeah. And to a lesser degree, that's happening with livestreaming.technology. I have a tremendous amount of views there, and amazingly, who knew? The topics that are getting the most views, I'll give you 3 guesses. It's a live streaming platform that used to be promoted as news gathering, and after Periscope went dark, they promoted themselves as a viable alternative to Periscope, and that everybody should run there and move all their followers over to this platform so they wouldn't lose their followers, and their followers had a place to find them. And then they got $4.7 million and went all TikTok portrait mode, and then abandoned everybody except for so-called musicians, and then set the bar really, really high so that nobody new could ever join the platform. And that's right, we're talking about HAPS. And the funny thing is, on livestreaming.technology, the HAPS forum has absolutely, by far, like 10 to 1, the highest ratio of views. But again, I think, I don't know, people might be afraid to post. But quite frankly, I spammed a number of HAPS broadcast comments and said, oh, there's a big HAPS discussion going over in livestreaming.technology. And a couple of people came in and they're saying, you know, somebody posted oh my goodness. Somebody came in the forum, joined the forum, signed up, you know, registered, and their first post was, do you like the new HAPS? And it's like, everybody said, stand back. A bomb's going to go off. So, oh my goodness. Do you like the new HAPS? No. So what do you think? Do you guys like the new HAPS? Hey, fist bump. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Ken. I'll tell you what, look. Okay, I'm going to do, you know I like to do impersonations, right? Okay, I'm going to do an impersonation. Ready? This is the new HAPS. Maybe like this. Hold on. Maybe like, I don't know. Oh, it's upside down. I don't care. Here's a new HAPS. This is a coffee shop. I'm playing guitar. It's a coffee shop. I'm not looking at comments. I mean, that's the new HAPS. It's just nuts. Like, that's content creation? Yeah, I'll tell you what. You want to listen to me play somebody else's songs for an hour and a half? You know, in a steakhouse? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Back in, you know, in the early teens, you know, 2010, 11, and 12, I had a gig at a steakhouse every Friday night with my friend Van. You guys probably remember Van. And I used to broadcast it on my laptop on Ustream. So I guess I did the same thing. But I was doing landscape. You know, and it was my channel, and so it was it. The chat's not burning the screen. Oh, it's not. Oh, I turned it off. That's right, I turned it off. I turned it off because I was, broadcasting to the, yeah, I remember now. I was broadcasting to the Phoenix Media Forge channel, so there you go. Yeah, I turned it off, so. Actually, though, for this broadcast, it's probably not that bad because I was showing a lot of stuff. You know, I was showing a lot of pictures. I showed, like, when we went orange picking, you know. Okay, I'll just give you an example because, Ken, I know you just came in here and I know you're kind of busy, but what I did was at the beginning, like, I showed, like, this picture. Now, Imagine seeing this picture with chat over the top of it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what, you know, like this, you know, or like that one. So, and this is typical Taiwan scenery. So, now the only problem is once the chat is turned off in the settings, I can't turn it back on unless I go into my account, and there's no way that I can do that while I'm broadcasting. So, yeah. But you know, for this broadcast, okay, I know it's a little different, but and we've only had a couple of comments from Twitch, which I welcome, and so now that I know that, which I didn't know, and no one told me, but that's okay. If I get another comment on Twitch, I'll mention it. But I'm sure for people on Twitch, it must be annoying because okay, I have one viewer on Twitch, and I sincerely apologize because I turned it off like 3 weeks ago, and I forgot. I haven't been on. I haven't been broadcasting, and I completely forgot that I had turned it off. I turned it off when I was at JTS and I wanted to live stream, right? So, no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you do. You do. I appreciate that, man. And so I turned it off when I was at the JTS studio because I wanted to broadcast live from the studio. Remember that? And I'm such an idiot. This is okay. This is how big of an idiot I am. I turned the chat off to do that, right? But I had been testing the day before, and I had all my live streams set to private. So I did a live stream, and nobody viewed it. And then later I looked at it, and I was like, shockwave around the world. It was like, anyway. So this Wednesday I'm going to be back at JTS, and we're going to be in the control room, and I got to do a live stream from there. And I might just do it on Taiwan Live TV, just because it's such a cool place, and everything works, and I can just do it, But and it won't be anything music specific. It'll just be, hey, how's it going? This is what we're doing today, kind of thing. So I think it'll be okay for Taiwan Live TV, but I got to do it. I got to do a live stream. So we're going to do this video shoot. It's going to be really funny. We're going to do a lot of humor in it and so forth. But I'll be sure and let you guys know when that video is finished and when it's released. I'm also writing a theme song for it. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be recording that in my studio in Phoenix Media Forge. And by the way, let me just say this before I go any further. If you need any mixing or mastering, old school mixing, like on a console, I'm not talking about in a DAW with a mouse and a bazillion plugins. I'm talking about using hardware, old school. That's where I came from. I've done 500 sessions at least on 24-track audio, analog tape, and so. If you're looking for somebody to old school, and I'm going to fully admit, I'm not a good match for every kind of genre, but I've done merengue, I've done classic rock, I've done classical, and I've done orchestral stuff. But I'm really good at classic rock and those kind of things. You got a classic rock band, you want somebody to mix for you, and I also do mastering services and editing too. Because I have editing tools for spectral editing and removing things like noises. Like one of my clients did a recording, and at the end of it, he's doing a harmonica solo, and at the end of it, he kicked the music stand. It's a big boom, but the performance was perfect. So I was able to take that out. I do this stuff. So please, the website is Phoenix Media Forge. Just one word, phoenixmediaforge.com. So. Yeah, well, I got an air conditioning heating unit. I've got an LG, with a split system. So yes, I do. But yeah, Ken, listen, you gotta convince your wife. Look, I'm doing serious art here. I need to put they're what, $700,000-$800,000. And with the heat pump and stuff. And the thing about it too, here's the selling point. That studio is attached to your house. So it's a big heat sink. A lot of the heat from your house is going into the studio. So if you heat the studio, it'll stop that from happening and the house will be warmer. Play that for your wife. Make sure that you stop it as soon as I say the word warmer. And now my head, then stop it. That'll work. I'm sorry, you may never be live streaming again after that. But yeah. So the studio website is Phoenix Media Forge, and it's there's also an Instagram account, Phoenix Media Forge, and yesterday I did a live stream on Instagram on Phoenix Media Forge where I was working on a mix for a client, so it's pretty interesting. You should at least get a space heater. I know, because the thing of it is, but look at it this way, Ken, look, I gotta tell you, now, minus 5F, that's pretty cold. That's pretty cold. It's never been that cold in the history of Taiwan, except like, 3,000 meters up or something. But Ken, let me just say this, okay? Look, bro, you do these coffee reviews, right? And they're really good. And by the way, I'm sorry. In this live stream, we've had Dave in Osaka. You need to follow Dave, and you need to follow Ken Rudd's Coffee Break, okay? Oh, sorry, I'm pointing to this burning on the screen, but it's not burning, sorry. Ken Rudd, you do like these great coffee reviews. When the studio is really cold, and you've got a steaming hot cup of coffee, the steam is a lot more visible, right? And you know that television advertisers spend a lot of money to put that in CGI. They go, oh, the coffee cup's it's not steaming. It has to be piping hot. It has to look appetizing. There has to be steam coming off, and therefore an aroma and stuff. And people, and you see them, right? You see them. It's really hilarious. I see people. I see commercials in Taiwan where they got a cup, and they got some kind of cold medicine in there, like some lemon and drops, and they're going, and there's this fake steam coming out. It's like, it's so fake. It's like, remember Conan the Barbarian, and they were breathing, it was coming out. It's like, are you kidding? So yeah, so there you go. Kick your son out of his room. Your son is going to be making YouTube videos that look like this. I'm in the garage. My dad kicked me out of my room because he wants to make YouTube videos in my room. There's a downside to that too. But can you imagine though? So tell you what, the next cup of coffee that you do, the next coffee review, get a super, super hot coffee. Okay, not an iced coffee. Do a hot version and take it in that studio, and let's see that steam coming up. Because just know that that's like about a $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 CGI bill just to do that the right way. But the ones I've seen in Taiwan, they're just like holding the cup, the mug, and they're just going like, this cold remedy, and there's nothing there, and they got this. It looks like somebody's bored, and they're using their pen on a Wacom, just going like this and just drawing it in. It's just terrible. Fake CGI smokes, they're steams though. Oh, that's hilarious. But I've been on so long that some of my regulars aren't in here. Like Frank's not in here tonight, and Jay Boy, and some of the others. And I apologize. I gotta tell you, I feel sometimes. I feel like I'm losing my mojo. Now my health is good, and I'll tell you what I did. I have a nice pair of chrome dumbbells. They're really nice. And as soon as I bought them, I loaded them up. I put every weight on them, so they're fully loaded, right? And they got a big, nice, beautiful rubber grip in the middle, and I appreciate that. Double JS, I appreciate that. And so, they got this nice grip, and they're all chrome and everything, right? And so I said, I gotta put these things by my bed, man. I put them by my bed. So like, if I get up and I try to roll out of the rack, I kick them with my foot. I'm like, oh, maybe I should pick them up. So I have been doing a lot of dumbbell exercises. I do them before I go to bed, and I do them first thing I get up. And so it's great because I feel like, wow. I remember when I was like 27, 28, I was a gym rat, right? I say, hey, J-Boy, fist bump. All right, good to see you, man. Thank you. Oh, so that's you on Twitch. Gotcha. Okay. Double JS. I guess I didn't realize that. Okay. Well, now I guess I know your Twitch ID now, but thanks, J-Boy. And so, yeah, I have this, like, you guys know what I'm talking about, especially when you're young. You walk around with this perpetual soreness. Okay, great, thanks. You got this perpetual soreness, right? Because you're always lifting weights and stuff. I used to really love that slightly sore feeling that I had all the time, because then I knew that, you know, I was doing good on my weightlifting regime, you know. So like right now I got that. That's great. So when I go home, I'm gonna do a couple sets of straight curls, and I'm gonna do hammer curls. You know, hammer curls are where you turn them this way, right? Like a hammer. Boy, hammer curls are nice. So I'm gonna give me some hammer curls. And I'm not gonna shave in the shower. I'm not gonna shave because what I wanna do is tomorrow, before I go out and face the world, I wanna have a nice, just wet shave with a hot towel with this puppy right here. Panasonic Arc 5. The greatest shaver known to man, except for the Arc 6, which is only available in Japan until April. I've been having discussion with Dave and Osaka. You know, Dave and I would say Dave and I are pretty close friends. We talk almost every day, you know, about an extensive range of different things, right? And he and I have a lot of the same interests, which is really interesting, and but not surprising, because we're both, you know, expats who left our home and we moved to Asia, you know, and so a lot of our, I guess I would say, experiences are similar in many ways. But the thing is, I've been talking to him a lot about this razor, right? And then he's teasing me because he went to the store and he found the Arc 6. I'm like, we can't get that in Taiwan. 5 and 6 refers to the number of cutting heads. This razor actually has, well, it's over here. This razor actually has 5 cutting heads. It's unbelievable, and I keep raving about it. But let me tell you, okay, how much do I love this razor if I don't want to shave tonight? But if you look, right, I mean, it's a very clean shave. I shaved last night. You know, I mean, the 5 o'clock shadow that I have now is very acceptable for being 24 hours old, more than 24 hours old. That's how close this thing is. So what I'm saying is, how much do I love this razor? If I don't want to shave tonight, just so I can like relax tomorrow morning, get my nice steaming hot towel, you know, do my face scrubbing routine, and then enjoy myself with this thing using shaving gel. What's so amazing, the wet and dry shaver, you know, it shaves with shaving gel. It's second to none. It's phenomenal. So yeah. So but Dave is teasing me because they have the 6 cutters, the Arc 6. They just came out with the Arc 6. He's got that in Japan. And I just bought this one. I'm like, how can I convince my wife that I need the Arc 6 when I just bought the Arc 5? The answer is, you can't. But let me tell you one thing, and I know I've been talking about it too much. There are several generations of the Arc 5. And each generation has the same motor. It's 14,000 strokes per second. That's the fastest and strongest motor of all the razors there are. That's one of the reasons that shaves so incredibly fast. And the form factor is identical. So what happens is, when they update the next generation, they improve the foils and they improve the cutters, but they are backwards compatible with the old versions. So they make a version of the Arc 5 that has 2 golden colored comfort rollers, because it's 5. I mean, it's 5 heads, you know, across your skin, but they got 2 rollers, and it makes it more comfortable. They also have a titanium dioxide center cutter, you know, for those flat hairs or the thick hairs, and even that foil combination and is compatible with all of the Arc 5. So that's what's just so amazing. So if you've got like a Generation 1 or Generation 2 Arc 5, you can immediately upgrade it to the latest version just by going and buying the cutting heads and the foils. And like the early bronze, not the later ones, the cutting heads are separate. So you got the foils on the top, and the foils have the middle, I guess the flat cutters, I guess what you call it, in between. But the round cutters, and they call it an arc because they're slightly arced. You know, there's a slight angle to them, or an arch to them. Those are like the old bronze. You know, they're just little cutter heads that just pop on and pop off, and they're all backwards compatible. So I got, you know, this particular one that's available in Taiwan, but it's not the latest generation. That's okay because I like the body and I like the display. The latest generation display I don't like, but all I got to do is go to Amazon and just order the cutters for it and the foil, and it's there. But I got to tell you, I can't. Oh, there's a mosquito. Got him. I can't imagine. I don't know. I can't imagine it being any better. But I got to tell you, if I find the foils that have the rollers on them, that's got to be the best. I think it's the best razor that's ever been designed. I was going to tell you. So, anyways, let me know what you think too about my idea of doing new content, possibly a new channel. I don't know. Just about things like, well, you know, talking about this razor and about some men's issues and things. There are many, many things that I've been making notes, and I realize that there are many things that I could share with other older men and younger men too, just because you know, I've lived this life. And let me explain something. I'm a typical baby boomer. I was born in 1956. I'm almost 66 years old. I was kind of a late son of a man who belonged to the greatest generation, the generation who, you know, fought in World War II, right? And these men, the greatest generation, these men, you know, my father at age 22 was doing things that were just unheard of. He was a navigator bombardier on a B-24 Liberator, you know, and these men from the greatest generation were fighting in all theaters of the war and doing incredible things and incredibly heroic things, but horrific things. Take care, Ken. Thanks so much. Horrific things. So, when my father raised me, he expected a high standard of conduct from me. He expected me to shape up or ship out. And he used to say that to me, "Mister, you better shape up or you're going to ship out." And I knew exactly what that meant. And then I was going to get a boot up my rear end. You know, and the men from that generation, the greatest generation, were not good communicators because they had everything bottled up. My father never talked about the war extensively until he started declining in health and he started developing dementia. And I was able to interview him and get more information out of him. So, hey, Mike, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I'd mentioned you earlier. All good. Don't worry about it. Thanks. And, you know, those men weren't good communicators. They weren't good at expressing emotions. They weren't good at saying things like, "Son, I love you," or "I approve of you," things like that. So what you have is a generation of men like me who were raised by really tough men. Tough men. The result is that I had to figure a lot of stuff out for myself quickly because my father didn't explain a lot of things to me. We didn't have a lot of, you know, father-son talks. What this has resulted in is a generation of men like me who, quite frankly, have trouble enjoying ourselves sometimes. A lot of guys my age are really uptight. But it's not a character flaw. It's not their fault. It's just that that's how they were raised. See, the greatest generation, men, did not allow themselves luxuries. They worked extremely hard to provide for their families, and they completely deferred happiness to their families. My father was like that. My father went through a divorce. Don't get me started. You know, and he worked really hard, and my father foregoed, I guess is the term, he just completely eliminated in his mind the idea of finding another woman because he had children that he had to raise. And I went to live with him, and I lived with him, you know, it was just he and I by ourselves, and I had, you know, two siblings, and three siblings, two sisters and a brother who lived with my mother. And I never saw my father seriously involved with a woman because he had to provide for me, and that meant that he had to move a lot of places because he was a Honeywell engineer and he was a troubleshooter, and they sent him where they, you know, he was really good at what he did, so they would send him places where they needed somebody to come in and you know, and shape him up or ship him out, okay, which is what he did. So it wasn't until I was in high school that he actually got married again. So, yeah, the greatest generation men are different, but that makes the baby boomer men different, which is coming around to what I'm talking about. My generation of men is very, very, very different than younger men. And so I think a lot of the insights that I have being raised by the greatest generation and having to because I turned them off. Sorry about that. I turned it off for other reasons, and yeah, they're not being burned. And so, yes. And Dean says, hey, on Twitch. Sorry, Dean, the comments aren't burned. Thank you. So I'm strongly considering doing content and quite possibly a new channel about a lot of the life lessons that I've learned and things that are just difficult for men my age and to do, and things that I would like to pass on to younger men. Things like how to relax, how to find enjoyment in certain aspects of life and things. And those, you know, kind of, I guess you could say almost like in a certain way, like maybe like life hacks, some people might say, but not quite the same. Because it's really interesting. I know my father would never allow himself any of even the, okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Any of the even, you guys, okay, before we go any further, do you understand what I'm saying? And I mean, have I said anything that sounded like out of line or, you know, off track or anything like that? But the things that I enjoy, my father would blow them off as luxuries. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Good to see you. Yes, it's nighttime here. You see behind me. Yeah, this is not a green screen. This is the real thing. Let me just tell you one. Thank you. Let me just tell you one little thing, okay? One little thing. Because, like I said, you know, my dad, he just no luxuries, no. He wouldn't do anything to pamper himself. Like, for example, I'm just going to tell you, you know, my father, to my knowledge, has never had a therapeutic massage. I mean, he's gone to a chiropractor and gotten an adjustment, but he never went to like a muscular therapist, you know, and got a therapeutic massage to relieve muscle pain, range of motion issues, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I went to Bali, I'd known about batik. You know, you guys heard me talk about this. You see my shirts, the beautiful, you know, colorful Indonesian type shirts. And I went to this store called Saris Batik. Anyway, it's a famous store and it's a fantastic place. And I bought some shirts and I bought some pants, and they've turned out to be unbelievably comfortable pants, but not something I would wear out, but I wear them to sleep with, and it's amazing. But here's the thing, when I was in the store, I saw this rope. And the rope is really cool because it has like, the sleeve goes out to here, and the material hangs down like a kite. It's huge, you know, the opening for the sleeve is like this high, and it's, you know. And I was in the store, and I put this robe on, and I said to Phoenix, I said, look at me. I'm the king of Bali. And she busted out laughing. But I felt like the king of Bali. And I bought that robe. And I'm telling you guys that when I put that robe on, I feel fantastic. I can be in the worst mood in the world, and I grab a pair of those batik pants, put them on, I put my robe on, and I'm the king of Bali. And it's really strange because I have a memory of when I was a kid, like 10, 11, and 12, you know, over those years. I would go visit my grandparents with my father during the holidays, okay? And my grandparents would have a holiday party. Now this is funny. In the house where my grandparents lived, they had what used to be called a smoking jacket, which is a very beautiful satin jacket with a collar and trim down the sides. And it's basically a type of robe to relax, but it is an extremely high class and very expensive garment. I didn't realize how rich my grandparents were at the time, right? But they had this jacket. And I still remember this. One of their close friends was an older man, probably my age, you know, than I am now. And his name was Carl. And the tradition was that Carl would come over to my grandparents' house for the holiday party. And, you know, back then, people would show up with a jacket and tie just to your, you know, friend's house. I like that, by the way. I like that kind of respect that you show for your friends. If you show up to their home with a jacket and tie, you know, I really like that. So he would take his tie off and give my grandfather the jacket, and my grandmother would give him this smoking jacket, and he would have his suit, formal slacks on, and he would put the smoking jacket on, and everybody went, "It's the millionaire." And that's what we call him for the rest of the night. You didn't call him Carl, didn't call him Mr. whatever, I forget what his surname was, but it's the millionaire. And it's really true that robe made him look like a millionaire. And you could see it in his face. He felt like it. And you know, it's funny that I made that connection from when I was a kid with this silly batik robe that I put on. I put it on and I said, I'm the king of Bali. And I started thinking about it. It's really amazing how little things like that can really lift your spirit and make you feel better. Why didn't I realize that? The evidence was there when I was, you know, 10, 11, 12. I think a lot of it has to do with the mindset of being raised by a man from the greatest generation. Yes, the clothes make the man. What that says to me, Frank, is that you're somebody that I want to know. It says that you're not uptight, you're not pretentious, and you're cool. And I already know you're a camper, so Clothes do make the man. Yeah. Yeah. Which is interesting because one time, I'll tell you another story. There's a guy that I no longer associate with. He's been not very nice to me over the last, couple decades. And he calls himself a producer. I don't think he's a very good producer. I'm not going to mention any names. And if he has anything to say about it, well, then it's kind of like if I say these things and they apply to him and he knows it, well, it's not my problem. But so. This gentleman, and I use the term loosely, told me that he had a session. He was producing a band, and they were from North Carolina, and they were in this famous studio in Boston that I'd known, and it doesn't work in. It wasn't a studio that I was the engineer of and working out of. It was another studio, and they wanted me to come in and do some vocal work. And so this guy called me, and I said, I can come over, okay? But I had a previous engagement, and the previous engagement required me to wear a suit and tie. And so when I showed up to do this session, this is a rock band, okay? I had a suit and tie on, and I with the control room, and I took my jacket off, and I set it down on the sofa. Yeah, exactly. I wear suspenders too. That's amazing. I wear suspenders, but I gotta admit, I wear a belt, but I put it really loose because I just don't like the look of my trousers, without a belt and just the belt loops. But I wear suspenders too, and suspenders are really great. Yeah. And so one of my friends I had a couple pairs of them, and one of my friends was asking me about suspenders, and I gave him a pair. And it's like, I'm not giving them back to you. It's like, okay, you can have them. So I showed up with this rock band, right? And I had a jacket and tie. Now, I had really no idea how they would perceive me. They might have thought I was kind of like a square pants or something, or just, Anyway, so they were cool. Hey, how's it going? We shook hands and said, okay, well, ready to do this. And I knocked out this vocal thing, And you just never know what's going to happen. You never know how people are going to perceive you, right? So I did this vocal track, and so one of the guys from this band said, "Can we talk to you outside?" I was like, "Of course." And I thought they were going to tell me, we didn't really like what you did, or I thought they were going to tell me something that they didn't want to say in front of somebody else that might be embarrassing about the performance that I did. I mean, that's just what I assumed, right? And I went out into another room in the studio, and they said, when so-and-so told us that he had a guy coming in here that was going to do vocals, and they were rolling their eyes. We had no idea the kind of person that he's going to bring in. And I'm thinking, what? And they said, and when you came in with a suit and tie, we knew that you were going to be good. I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of like thinking well, so why are you telling me? And they said, we've been having a lot of trouble with him, and he's not very reliable, and he's been drunk a couple times, and so we'd like to ask you, are you a producer? And I said, yes, I am. And do you have a studio? Where I said, yes, and all this stuff. And I basically told him I couldn't ethically just take over the session, from him. I said, if you guys, not today, but independently sever your relationship with him, here's my contact information, but, I can't come in here and tell you that, you guys can just walk in there and tell him he's fired and hire me. That just wouldn't be right and stuff. But it was really amazing how just the fact that I had, my suit and tie on is completely opposite rock and roll. It's completely un-rock and roll as you can get. But they recognize, the seriousness, the business nature, because I was, I was at a serious meeting before that, and so that was pretty interesting. But anyway, I have a bunch of ideas. I have over 20 different themes that I've already written down for videos for maybe even a possible YouTube channel. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think and put this in the comments later. You know, in the not here, but in the actual comments, so they're permanent. If I was going to do another channel like that, what would you call it? You know, I was thinking something like MJ Knows Stuff, or something like, or maybe, I don't know, like, over 65, still alive, something like that. But I don't know. I really don't know. So if you have an idea for a channel, because you guys know me, it's something that I could do with pre-recorded videos and very focused, so like we're talking 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. Not like, not like an hour and 36-minute live stream like we're doing here. And that kind of stuff. If you have an idea for perhaps, the name of a channel, that would be good. So, but Frank, I'm so glad you joined, because I mentioned earlier that I haven't been on so long that I've lost a lot of the regulars didn't come in here. I said, like J-Boy and Frank, and J-Boy came in, and Frank came in, and I mentioned Mike earlier, so guys all came in. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry that the comments aren't burning, because I did turn them off. All right, so Wednesday I'm going down to JTS, and Ian and I are going to do we're going to do a product introductory video for the JTS WA1 speaker system, which is a speaker system that I had recently gone down to demo. And earlier on in the live stream, I showed the Chinese data sheet that they've released that has my picture on it. So Ian and I are going to be doing that, and I'm going to try my best. We're going to be kind of busy, but I'm going to try my best. I might just, for the fun of it, just live stream the video shoot, because it's going to be funny, and you get to see the outtakes and so forth. So, but I got to go. It's getting late. You guys take care. I've been on for far too long. I've been on for 1 hour and 37 minutes. So you guys take care. Thank you so much for joining. And I apologize for not being on. I've been kind of depressed. Kind of lost my mojo. But things are good. I got no complaints. There's nothing wrong. It's just a clinical thing that goes on that happens to me once in a while, and I'm honest about it. But my greatest generation father would never admit. Guys, take care. Remember the old days? I love this. Old farts know best. That's a good one. Oh, gosh. Oh, that would be a troll magnet, though. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Remember this? I used to do the finger on this finger on Periscope. Guys, take care. Thanks, now. Bye bye.